Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. I recently shared a flip through of my completed Traveller's Notebook insert, the one with plain paper. So I've started a new insert. I have done a couple of pages in here already, one which was collage and one which was watercolour that I filmed for a Patreon video. And seeing as the last one took me so long to complete, I'm really going to try and encourage myself to use this journal a little bit more often this year because I really like working in this size and I don't know why it took me so long. So I've put in a board underneath just to try and give me a nice flat surface to work on here. And I think one of the things I want to use in this spread is one of my printables. I've just recently released these on Patreon. This is my printables bundle, which goes out to my top tier. I finally worked out or taken lessons in how to do proper looking watercolor images in Procreate, which I'm absolutely thrilled with. So I thought it would be nice to use some of those in this journal. And in the bundles, I also include other decorative elements. You can see I've started using these and cutting some up already. And I print out some of my quotes on white paper, some on parchment paper, just to get a different look and feel to them. So I know that I definitely want to use some of these today. So I think I'm going to start off just by deciding, so I did 2 pattern sheets. I'll decide whether I want just the white background on here or the coloured. I think I'll go for the white one. I've already used one of the coloured ones in another project. So I'm going to start off just by cutting this out and gluing this on my whole left-hand page. And to glue it down, I'm going to be using Pritt Stick. Now I've got that glued down, I want to use a little bit of washi tape along the middle. And part of the reason I do that is to hide the gap, because I don't like to bring the papers right in too close to the fold, because it can make your journal then a little bit more difficult to close properly. So I just find if I leave a little gap, but then put some washi tape down, that doesn't affect the closing of the journal at all. And this washi tape came from London Gifties. Again, I'm just going to trim off those extra bits. The next thing I'm going to do is glue down one of the journaling cards. Sometimes I put these onto cardstock and use them as tipping cards, somewhere to add photos on the back. And in the bundle I do 2 sets, one with words on and one that's plain. But this quote that I'd added, changing direction, is always an option. That's something that's been on my mind recently because there's a few things that I want to change about what I'm doing, and sometimes you feel that perhaps you're a bit too entrenched in something and it's hard to make that change. But so that's a little reminder to myself really, and anybody else, that changing direction actually is always an option. It's never too late to change what path you're on and where you're going. So I really like that, and I'm going to come and add some journal writing on there later. I have a sticker sheet as well that's part of the bundle, along with mood trackers and things, and these I tend to print out onto sticky paper. Just makes them a bit easier to use than gluing them down. So I think I'm just going to pick a couple of stickers to add to this right hand page. So I've picked these 3 stickers. I'm just going to decide where I want them. One of the things I love about working with printables is how quick and easy it is to pull some pages together. So if you're short of time, I just think it's so handy. And when I was designing these printables, this is actually the bundle for September, but already out on Patreon. Usually by September, I'm starting to think about kind of autumnal colours and themes, but in the UK, and I know some other parts of Europe as well, we don't actually seem to have had a summer yet. So I couldn't quite bring myself to go down the autumnal line as much as I absolutely love autumn. I'm hoping that we might just get a little bit of sunshine still at some point. So I wanted to keep these colours a bit more fresh and hopeful, and I'm no doubt by the time I'm designing for October, those ones will definitely be looking at some of the beautiful oranges and reds as well. I sometimes print these stickers out onto transparent sticker paper as well, and I really like how that looks, but my printer at the moment is getting a little bit up the swanny. I think it's struggling with anything too thick, and it's not liking the transparent sticker paper at the moment, but that's fine. I still really like them on the white paper too. I want to add a quote to this page as well. And these quotes at some point, usually I just print out lots of them and just pop them in a little pot on my desk so that I've always got an easy way of adding some quotes to my journal pages. And so I tend to print them on both white and parchment, so this gives me a choice depending on what kind of feel I want to my spreads. If I'm doing art journaling, then I tend to go for the ones that are printed on white more, but so it's just preference. So I'm going to have that one just going slightly over that leafy sticker. If you haven't joined my Patreon but you're interested, the full bundle of printables goes out to the top tier, the journal VIPs. And I've currently got a free trial on my Patreon running at the moment, so you could always take a look at that if you fancy it, and then you'd be able to access those printables straight away. But even if you've just got other things from magazines, different images that you've cut out, I hope this just gives you some ideas of layout ideas, things you could play with. Before I add my journal writing, I'm just going to do some little dashed lines around the outside of the right hand page just for extra decoration. And for this I'm using a black Muji gel pen. That's what I'll also be using for my journal writing. I love using fountain pens in this insert, but at the moment I think I've only got blue and pink in my fountain pen, so that's probably not going to look great with these greens. So just a really quick journaling video today, but I just wanted to give some ideas of layouts and nice quick ways to get journaling. I think sometimes it can feel quite intimidating with how much time you think you need to set aside, but it really doesn't need to take too long. But of course, if you've got some spare time and want to do really kind of more elaborate spreads and get all of your different mediums out, that's lots of fun too. But for times where it's a little bit short, but you still want to get documenting, I just find this is a really nice way of being able to do it. So I'm going to use my black Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib just for adding the date, and then I'm going to add my journal writing using the Muji gel pen. that is my journal writing now all complete. I've used this side to jot down some thoughts about changing direction, and although it feels difficult, that change is always possible, just as a little reminder. On here I've written about making time for me. It's something I really want and need to focus more on. I'm so lucky that I get to spend my days working on things that I love, but it's really been difficult to take proper time away. So that's something that I'm trying to think about, some changes perhaps that I can make and just tweak to give myself a little bit more time off. So I just say that to hopefully give you some ideas of the sorts of things that I'm writing about in my journals. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon, and thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you're doing really, really well. I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.